Well, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome back to PlayFrame and to Pyre. We've got to do another liberation right now. I don't really know who our opponents are set to be, but it's kind of looking like the Chastity, who we've not played against in some time. And they've not got a great win-loss record. They're not the worst, but not great. Let us add to that count of losses as best we can. Hopefully. Okay, here we go. Already are the Nightwings summoned back to Mount Elodil. Picture the Rites as a wheel broken free from a black wagon. It is turning uncontrollably and soon shall reach a sudden stop. We should have several chances left for someone to go free. Either us or else our adversaries, but not both. What is at stake each time is further complicated now, I must admit, knowing we have so few opportunities remaining. Those whom we send back into the Commonwealth, should our plan somehow fail, they may look back upon their exile with fondness. 58% chance, currently. So returning to the Commonwealth is not inherently a mercy, I don't think. Moreover, there are also those among us whom we count on to prevail in the Rites. We need them on the Nightwings just as much as we need them in the Commonwealth. We cannot simply grow our numbers here, given the circumstances. And so, who stays, who goes, these choices affect us all. No pressure there, my boy. Now, I don't know about you, but I shall go and take my leave for now. Let's set forth again at daybreak. No pressure indeed. More pages, though. We'll have to read those in a bit. How are we feeling? Jodariel has seemed more reserved even than usual since her confrontation with Ignarius and the Tempers. Nonetheless, she addresses you. Tell me something, reader. Back where you came from, did you have someone whom you considered close? Say there was someone. However brief, the memory of that relationship is something you will always bear. Or yours was a solitary life in the Commonwealth, your friends are in greater number here. Or this is the downside, your past is not important anymore and not worth mentioning. As a player of the game, I am certainly of the opinion that our friends are much greater in number here than in that former life that I have very little window into. Within the context of the game, I certainly am attached to everyone here. So this feels a little more true. You tell Jodariel that you had nobody close enough to be worth mentioning back in the Commonwealth. She shows no reaction to this, but you can tell that she is listening. I see. I led a solitary life as well, though for a time I had someone. It is something which did not end well, but there were times. She trails off. We had our times. She looks up at you, then. That Ignarius, he's a base fool. We have not a thing in common save a set of horns. Yet, here I am, drawing comparisons with how I felt at times back in the Commonwealth, while speaking to you of him. I am a little old to be having such thoughts, reader, especially in a place such as this. Thank you for your time. Do not reveal this to the others. It is a trifling matter and not to be of anyone's concern, especially not mine. Jodariel makes evident that she has nothing more to say about this. Never too old to have a crush, Jodariel, it's okay. You could tell her that Ignarius seems alright. If Jodariel's found some kinship with him, then that's comforting to hear. That Ignarius seems like trouble. By her own admission, they have nothing much in common. She can do better. Tell her that you care for her. Ignarius would be a base fool indeed to not see what he sees in her. Let's see, or tell her goodbye. It's evident that to you that she wishes to be left alone at this point. I do care for her, though I am not wanting, I don't know if there's a more romantic affection subtext to this one. I can read that into the way this is written, and that is not necessarily what I'm wanting to imply. I do like Jodariel very much as a character, but I don't know if that's the way I want to roleplay necessarily. Again, that might not be what they are implying here, but just in case. Honestly, I'm happy for you if you are finding some happiness in connection to Ignarius. You suggest to her that Ignarius may not be as bad as he seems. You sense his feelings are sincere. Jadariel says nothing at first, but then she simply says, I appreciate that. She departs with a nod. Well, hope you're feeling okay. We'll do some reading in a bit. Actually, no, let's do the reading now. Why not? Got a few more pages. Shax's Six Shoulders. Much can be learned of bravery from the tale of Haub the Swallow, the imp who alone felled the muscular and altogether terrifying bone titan called Shax's Six Shoulders. Six Shoulders sat listless, his appalling frame refusing to be budged. None dared approach the withered fiend, whose plague had spread half across the valley floor. Undeterred, Haub sprang into action, whilst we but watched. The little one, he flew into the gaping maw of Shax and lodged himself inside the monster's throat. Shax began then to cough and cough and cough until the valley shook. Six Shoulders breathed his last and fell. His putrid flesh then fizzled and was gone. Yet our friend Imp remained. What little hero. But also, the Tempers. Myr, the Horned One, formed the Tempers upon his own ideals. Ingrained in this triumvirate are basic truths about the dual roles of strength and gentleness. The Horned One, he's had a dualistic nature for as long as he and I consider each a friend. The stories I'm told about Myr's youth describe no one I know. All of us are capable of more. I once was an imp that could not write. Myr once was a man that could not think. The Tempers once were ordinary folk. Now they rise to greatness, always striving, never overreaching. They are not like Myr himself. Rather, they are what Myr wished he could be. A lot of good writing in this book. It'll be very tiring reading through the whole darn thing at the end of all this, but worthwhile. Anyway, still nothing new from you, I assume? I guess we can try, but nope. Unwilling to make small talk right now. Fair enough. Just checking in. Onward we go! May we find victory. And bid our most behorned friend a fond farewell. What's going on down there? You okay? What was that about? Anywho. Northward we go. A long, long way. Northward. Super duper northward. We have been to both of these places now, so it really... we've actually been to all locations on this place now, so we can kind of go anywhere. Once more we sail above the fall of Solium. The temple to the 8 scribes awaits us at the summit. None have seen the temple, save for those worthy to conduct the rites there, and myself and my counterpart Celeste. You may then wonder whence it came. The cycle of the rites has turned since the beginning of this age. Over its course, whilst waiting for the cycle's turns, some exiles thus paid tribute to the 8 scribes. I think the scribes may not have wanted such extravagance, or the carved effigies to them along the way. Yet it is for triumvirates to decide how best to honor the rites. They chose to honor them as you see there. How you remember this, of course, whether you even wish to do so, that is yours to decide. The scribes would not want otherwise. I'm really curious about him still, and Celeste as well. Like, they've got that sun and moon theming going on. They're both involved in the, like, carrying out of the whole final liberation rites process. Like, they're both required there, it seems. But Celeste does not seem to have much fondness for Tariq at this point. I'm wondering what went on there. Also interesting, like, with the moon connection in the theming of Tariq, and also that moon-touched label ascribed to Shay, which is considered kind of a negative thing. Just as a term. I wonder. My understanding is incomplete, clearly. But, Shay shall gain favor from the scribes if we land here. Jadariel shall gain favor if we land here, and that seems the thing to do, given you're our lead contestant. You make landing upon Mount Alodil, where Volfred pulls you aside while the others complete the post-flight inspection. He puffs at his pipe before speaking up. Reader, as you know, I now wear the raiments once again. This means that I, myself, may soon be worthy to regain my freedom in the eyes of the 8 scribes. Know, however, that it is not my wish to go just yet. It is true I could be of some benefit to our plan back in the Commonwealth, but I feel my place is here for the time being. Perhaps, once the Nightwings are on a surer footing in their path, my time shall come. Those are my feelings on the matter, and I wanted you to know. I shall, of course, defer to you. Our path is not to contradict the reader's will. Anyway, I trust that all of us, yourself included, shall find our freedom. If not soon, then by when all of this is over. I hope so. But yeah, good to have that added confirmation. Useful data for me to have. Might upgrade a talisman or two. Maybe this one. Assuming oh, no, don't have any upgrade things on me. Never mind then. Are there any of these things that aren't talisman? I guess there's a cursed one that can kind of live up here, and I think these are all talismans, though. At this point. Just for my own sorting benefit. But okay. Onward. Having completed the post-flight inspection, you and Jadariel visit the monument of Gol Golathanian here in Emperor's Fall. You scribes are quite predictable. The others were naive to think our opportunities at freedom were indefinite. So, now we have to make the most of every chance. Is that not so? I fail to see how that is any different than before. Soon, she is finished paying her respects. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Gol Golathanian has shown you favor. You soon shall ascend the mountain, though there is time now to pursue your vocations. +2 hope? Love it. I accept. Who wants to talk? You. Jadariel seems to be fidgeting with her horns. Blast these wretched things, reader. Have you any inkling as to how unwieldy they become with age? I long for the days when the wound in my leg was chief among my bodily concerns. Jadariel seems frustrated about her horns. They do look heavy. I mean, they also look good. It seems one never grows entirely accustomed to becoming a demon of the downside. But you find it difficult to imagine Jadariel without her stately horns. You know a rhetorical question when you hear one. Best let her speak her mind. This, like, they do look good on her. She looks rad. But she's really frustrated with them right now. And I don't know if hearing the things she clearly doesn't have a lot of fondness for right now complimented, that may not help a lot. This feels more sympathetic. You note that her horns do look rather heavy and express regret that they yet seem to cause her some discomfort. Your sympathy is noted, but it does not change the fact of the matter here. 10 years or so into my stay within this blasted place, I first felt protrusions from my skull. They remained hidden by my hair for quite some time, but I knew that would not last. We all heard much of demons in the Commonwealth. Sinners, rightfully exiled, would assume their rightful form. Thus, when my horns began to sprout, I took it as an indication that perhaps this was indeed the fate that I deserved. She trails off for a while. I know somewhat better now. Anybody of our kind left down here long enough and left alive becomes like this. Something in the climate. Difficult to say. A disease of sorts, but not a deadly one. If anything, the opposite. If we live long enough, then we live longer still, like this, extending thus our sentence into exile. Sometimes I think, if these horns are here to symbolize my sins, then surely they're going to recede, if ever I return. On nights when these damned horns prevent my sleep, my thoughts inevitably stray to that hopeless idea. A naive hope which never leaves, despite prolonged attempts to rid myself of it. Horns are not worth the trouble, reader. She nods wryly as she heads out into the afternoon. Well, they do look good on you, but I hope, for your sake, that when we get you out of here, and try we will, you will be freed of the horns. Yeah, I want to win on this one, team. This afternoon, you feel especially drawn to the Book of Rites and find a place to look upon its words. Through greater understanding comes the reader's influence. We do have a little quickness we could gain. The 8 scribes who composed the book, their influence and their experience spreads through the pages into the willing reader's deepest consciousness. Inspiration comes to you in a flash, whether from the book or within, you cannot tell. And huzzah, we are more speedy. And I think we've got all the bonuses we can from such studies. Let's continue. Pamitha gaining favor here, or Volfred gaining favor here? It is tempting to use a similar team comp as we did last time. It was not optimal, but it worked really well defensively. I'll have to think on that, but sure. En route to the mountaintop, you pass by a monument to Luz Glorian, and Volfred happens to take notice. Orlek, was this somehow your doing? You who cursed the scribes and the stars themselves. I pray for you this time. And if the scribes will for the rites to be ended, then we shall have to work with that. No setback shall be insurmountable. Soon he has finished paying his respects. As you prepare to continue your ascent, you sense that Luz Glorian has shown him favor. I'll take anything I can get. You and your fellow exiles gather at the foot of Scribe's Gate, before an archway carved of stone, where stands the Gate Guardian.
Salutium, Ceres.
Greetings to you, Celeste. I see the exiles of the Nightwings have returned, even as the cycle of the rites begins drawing to a close. The Nightwings accept this as the will of the scribes. The Gate Guardian laughs at this softly for some reason. And you, Tariq, do you accept their will as well? But the lone minstrel does not answer her. It is no matter. Now, Nightwings, each of you come forth and state what it is that you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. One by one, the Nightwings declare themselves. You all pass through as before. When Volfred takes his turn, Celeste stops him. You, I see you wear the raiments once again. Explain. The cycle of the rites is ending. While I do not know exactly why, I have my fears. One of my contemporaries, he who fell from the summit long ago, he lives and seeks his liberty again. He stands against us now and believes his triumvirate to be the true Nightwings. A splinter faction from the scribe's most favored triumvirate. I remember well the contemporary whom you mean. Then the Nightwings stand divided. Yes, and so I wear the raiments once again, in case that it may help to right this wrong. For I am Volfred Sandalwood, and I seek liberty for each of us, so that one day we all might stand shoulder to shoulder on the other side, and bring our freedom to the people there. She considers Volfred's words for a moment. I see. Then move along. The Guardian of Scribe's Gate regards you all, and then she beckons you onward. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Celeste. What is it, Tariq? The will of the scribes. Long have we both followed it, I think you would agree. In equal measure has it drawn us close as separated us. But if their aim now is to keep us apart for another age or longer, then no, I do not accept their will. You blaspheme, Tariq, and at the gate, no less. But the lone minstrel simply puts his hat back on. Then may the scribes themselves admonish me. Until tomorrow night, Celeste. You two are interesting. With your divorcee energy. Having reached the peak of Mount Elodil, again, you see the vastness of the downside all around you. It leaves you deep in thought regarding which of your companions ought to go free this night, as Rookie did the last time. Nope, we got a plan. Hey guys, so, I don't know what's going on up there with all them stars all acting real weird and stuff, but let me tell you something here. You ain't gonna find a better deal on all this stuff from anybody. I mean anybody in the downside. You can trust me when I tell you that, okay? So go ahead, stock up. I'm pretty poor, Ron. At this time. Very much so. Extremely so. Thanks anyway. You guys didn't see nothing, huh? Saw plenty. Had none to spend. Any final thoughts here? Volfred looks up at you as you approach and smiles. I never thought that I would say such things, my boy, but it is good to wear the raiments and the rites once more. The march of time does have a way of healing certain hurts. Besides, the Nightwings of today, we're a very different beast than the triumvirate which took me in almost a decade ago. Ours was a triumvirate of exactly 3. Well, 4, with Tiso, who proved to be an exception. Though historically the Nightwings never took on more exiles than needed. I have mentioned my predecessor, Brighton, and my former companions, Arisa and Orlek. Perhaps naively, I had hoped my time with them would not be relevant directly to what we now attempt. But, seeing as our stories are now intertwined, do let me know if there's more you wish to learn of them. Actually, yes, that'd be nice, because I kind of expect they're going to interfere eventually. Maybe sooner rather than later. Tell me of Brighton. Thus far, I've only heard passing reference to Volfred's predecessor on the Nightwings. You inquire about Brighton, who you understand was liberated prior to when Volfred first joined the Nightwings. I never met Brighton in person, but I know him rather well by now. Though, for that matter, my boy, so do you. He studies your reaction for a moment, then... Brighton was born wealthy, but not special otherwise. You would have no reason to have heard of him. He was exiled for negligent misconduct. I do not know exactly why and do not care for spreading rumors. I first heard of him through Arisa and Orlek, who found in me a suitable replacement following his liberation. They spoke little of him. Orlek gave the impression they did not see eye to eye, but he assured me I soon would hear from him myself. Indeed, as I became accustomed to the book which you know well by now, I soon began to hear the voice. Volfred looks at you as if to see if you yet take his meaning. You see, my boy, after Brighton's liberation, he assumed a new identity within the Commonwealth, and a new responsibility to the triumvirate which liberated him. That voice you hear, from time to time, whensoever the stars align, is his. He is no longer Brighton. He is now none other than the Archjustice Andrabales IX himself. I didn't know that was who the voice was. The Grand Judge and figurehead under whose watch the Commonwealth is governed in this day. Those who violate the law of the Commonwealth face sentencing by the appointed Archjustice. Liberated exiles retain certain burdens to their old triumvirates. They have much to thank them for, not just for their freedom, but their exalted status in the Commonwealth. The theocratic rulers of the Commonwealth, they do not wear masks and raiments simply for the sake of ceremony. They are not who they appear to be. Their public pasts are nothing but a fabrication. Like Brighton, they once were exiles too. Brighton, that voice, he has no love for either one of us by now. He knows full well what we attempt to do, yet he is bound by the traditions of the rites. He shall always stand on ceremony and complain, but I think he knows, deep down, that he's powerless. How ironic that one of such high status in the Commonwealth should be so frightened of some long-forgotten exiles such as we. Anyway, that's Brighton for you. He must have seen in you the potential to be one of his staunch supporters for a time. If that's a path you'd want to pursue, I should apologize. Now then, whom else should we talk about? Well, after I sip some tea, because yours is easily the hardest voice of anybody in this cast. It's a real shame you talk so much. Hang on. Whew. So many deep voice characters. Tell me of Orisa. She betrayed Oralek, causing the Nightwings to fall apart. Why would she do such a thing? You ask about Orisa, who you understand betrayed Oralek at the moment of his liberation and then perished in the Shimmer Pool. I'm afraid you know the brunt of it, my boy. But I suppose you ought to know something of Orisa's past, lest you be quick to judge her solely by her actions. Mind you, I would never make excuses for the terrible choice she ultimately made, but her life, I understand, was very difficult. Orisa had been exiled for the foulest of acts. You could see it plainly branded on her face. Such was the heinousness of what she did in the eyes of the Commonwealth. She was an apprentice blacksmith in her youth, taking up the post left by her brother. He had fallen in battle on the blood border, despite wielding their father's own lance and armor. Her father never quite recovered after this, and had grown cruel and detached. It was Orisa who took the brunt of his fury. He expected the impossible of her. One day, it was all too much for her, so when next he lashed out at her, she struck back. She struck back again and again and again. When they came for her, her father was gone, and she was not herself. She was promptly cast into the downside for the crime, where her hatred for the Commonwealth only grew. Orisa always was intense in her demeanor, haunted by her father's memory. More than that, her chief motive for wanting back her freedom was, in hindsight, not a healthy one. She longed to join our nation's enemies, to build for the Highwing remnants a great siege engine that could shatter the defenses of the Commonwealth and forever end our feud. What she ultimately did to Oralek, it was an act of pure and thoughtless desperation. I do not think that it was simply evil, nor do I think that it was personal. I often wondered, though, if, in her final moments in the Shimmer Pool, she understood what she had done and the depths to which she had fallen. For years, I must admit, I hated her, but now, my only hope is that she found a peace untenable during her relatively short life in the downside and the Commonwealth. Furthermore, I hope the life of Orisa offers some perspective yet to those of us who have not made the same mistakes. Now then, was there something else? There is indeed one more. Oralek, the demon whom you met. What was he like before? Were he and Volfred close? You ask about what Oralek was like when he and Volfred first became acquainted. Volfred remains silent for some time. I was very, very sick, when I first landed in the downside. The long trip down the river must have been a little much for me. It was Oralek who found me. He could not have known of my capacity to read before he revived me. He was a physician, intolerant of the sight of suffering of any kind. Not just any physician, mind you, a gifted, highly decorated one. He served on the front. Back then, skirmishes erupted frequently, and those such as Oralek, they had to deal with many casualties on either side. In time, he said he grew repulsed by what he saw. This sowed in his heart a yearning for an end to all of the bloodshed, so he tried to use his status to negotiate a treaty with the Highwing remnants. It must have gone about how you'd expect. He was given direct orders to return to the front, but when he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him to the downside. Here he gained the notice of the Nightwings, and before long he grew to be one of the finest Rite's conductors anyone had ever seen. He was instrumental in the liberation of his companions, whose roles in the Triumvirate were later filled by Orisa and me. In time, Oralek's own opportunity for freedom had come up. He longed for it, so that with his exalted status he might stand a better chance of negotiating peace. However, on the evening of his liberation, well, you know the story from that point. Volfred breathes a heavy sigh. He and I were kindred spirits for a while. I could not bear to think that he was gone, and now, I still cannot entirely believe that he's back. He is our adversary now, transformed, grown cold. Still, part of me is happy that he lives. Make no mistake, of course, I shall not be swayed against our plan, not by Oralek or anyone. As I've said before, we share a higher calling now. As for Oralek, He wants his freedom still, although I wonder if he still remembers why. Anyway, was there something else, my boy? There is not, and for my voice's sake, thank goodness. I bid you farewell. You bid Volfred a good afternoon and leave him with his memories. My pleasure, reader. Reflecting on the past from time to time helps demonstrate how far we've come, yet how much farther we have yet to go. Well put. Phew. Well, game time. Once more you have gained the fall of Solium, where one among you may go free. But first you shall have to prevail against the chastity in the liberation rite. Reader, your companions are gathered there, under the fall. They shall be counting on you. Indeed, as the cycle of the rites turns ever faster, so too is our plan set in motion. My agents in the Commonwealth are beginning to cause a bit of a stir out there, and word has reached high places that the rites are ending. This is our chance. Though let us not despair should victory elude us here. We shall make the most of whatever the scribes may have in store for us. That is to say, good luck, my boy. It is time. Here we go, here we go. And okay, we do have one more. Dolnis the Locket. Your adversary's pyre shall recover up to 5 health each time they douse yours. It's a big enlightenment bonus on that one. We're getting big enlightenment bonuses on all of them now. I guess that makes sense. Late game. Levels come slow. Well, let's turn that off. Yeah, for liberation rites, I'm not playing around, especially against the chastity. Come on. Like, if we were going against the Fate or one of these other more sympathetic ones, sure. We could negotiate. Not today.
Once more, the Nightwings gain the summit of the sacred Mount Aladiel to conduct the Liberation Rite.
Aladiel?
Even as the stars themselves abandon you.
Man.
Make good upon these final opportunities, reader. This glorious age-old tradition coming to an end upon your watch.
My watch?
I trust that chastity, your adversaries, shall not throw away this chance. Choose now who may go free, should they unfortunately fail.
You're the one in spectator mode. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the chastity, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings. Manly flourishes onto the grounds and grasps his mask in his spindly fingers. Warmest salutations to you all upon this blessed eve. I am H. Manly Tinderstaff, and I must say that I'm very moved to be a part of these proceedings. It shall be my humblest of privileges to return quite soon, I hope, unto the Commonwealth, where I shall dedicate myself in full toward the betterment of that society. I long to be a part of this glorious tradition, even when my freedom is rightfully restored. For is it not the case that exiles such as we are called upon to lead? How you govern in your Commonwealth is not our business here. Your intentions shall mean nothing if you do not prevail in this rite, Manly Tinderstaff. Oh, but I mean no offense. Meant no offense at all. I shall serve well in these rites, I promise. Why, I should think I shall be sending many exiles here into the downside to replace me. I can think of quite a few who I think would benefit from experiencing this wonderful tradition for themselves. Then Manly covers his face again. Now, as for you, Nightwings, make no attempt to undermine me here, and nothing shall befall you or your loved ones in the Commonwealth. Is it a deal? Nightwings, your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct the liberation rite? Reader, I would ask you to choose wisely, but I'm sure you know no other way. And you, prepare your song, Tariq. Of course, Celeste.
Whom do you intend to liberate?
Choose who would be free. The choice is made.
Jodariel.
If that is your wish.
Who shall be at her side?
Who indeed? Who indeed? Yeah, especially since we can't get him out as kind of our first person on the field. That went a lot smoother for me when I could have him in the first, like, as the first selected character, so I could get that spread out so fast. So I think I would opt to have somebody else. Maybe Bertrude.
Bertrude.
Then we shall do what is within our power for that one. And we need someone speedy, either Pamitha or Shay. Well, before I do that, and forget, there is you. Let's see. After casting Sprout, their sapling spawns faster than usual. If Manly's banished, sapling shall automatically spawn near his pyre until he returns, and after casting may ultimately detonate his sapling in an aura burst. Pretty similar to how I have Volfred built, just a little further along. When preparing to fling the aura, the bear's charge-up speed increases by a lot, so don't let him close by. He will score quite well. Are there? Oh, there are bios for everybody, aren't there? Wow, that's cool. Jumps and power jumps, brief. I will definitely not be retaining all of this. Wide slash. If he manages to banish someone, someone else will instantly return. Rough. Okay, so this little guy's going to be slashing every which way and giving me troubles. All you know of him for certain is he serves the chastity. Okay, so we don't know a whole lot about these two. Fair enough. But you. This talkative sap seems to enjoy making empty promises about his eventual return to the Commonwealth, where he is certain he will achieve a position of considerable authority. Though insufferable, he does seem knowledgeable about the inner workings of the Rites and of the Commonwealth. Okay. Where were we? Decisions, of course. It did go really well with Shay. After casting aura, it can bounce off objects and all surfaces. I do need to do that a little bit more. Yeah, let's get Shay in there again. I really don't want to take chances on this one. Because, like, Pamitha, I feel like in the past, I'm pretty hit or miss playing with her.
Shay!
Me? Of course, I'll do my best. This is important. I'm glad you agree. Now it begins. Do me this favor, if you please, and stand aside like a good sport there, I promise to reward you handsomely once I'm free. Here goes.
Commence.
Nope. You going nowhere. Let's see if our previous strat still kind of works. Hey! Rude. Nope. Throw! Boom! Haha! Getting a little bit more practiced at trying to win in that fashion. I think we blocked it. Maybe. Run! Don't take chances, just go. Get them points. We will endure. Well, seems we've had a little trade there. Oh dear. Too fast. And they've healed their own too, I think. Possibly. Nope. Full 20. Okay, yeah, she can throw really fast too. If they're gonna leave me wide open for it, then I'm just gonna take advantage. Oh, what's this now? Seems to me the scribes so enjoy our company, the entertainment we provide, that they've deigned to reignite our pyres. Observe. Something stirs in the sky. If the heavens are to rain and reignite your pyres, then the rite shall continue, ere one pyre or the other is put out. What? Hey! Mean? Mean and cheating? Okay. Fine, be that way. Go! You're too slow! Could have charged it up further, but oh well. Still just don't want to take chances, you know? Ah. Close one. Ah. Gotcha. No, you don't. Go, 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 go. Boom! Yeah, Shay can throw fast. And run fast. The infinite stamina while holding the ball really, like, makes an incredible difference. Ah, you're gonna have to do better than that. Ah, you got lucky. Nope.
An opportunity.
Whew.
Chastity banished to the last.
Better hurry. Nope. That did not work. Ah, dang it. I'm gonna have to score so many points to win this darn thing.
Yes.
But I shall do it.
Shay's aim was true.
Again.
The Nightwings edge closer to victory.
Assuming we don't get interfered with again.
Stroke of luck is all.
I agree. Too slow.
In goes the orb.
Gotta keep doing that. Ah!
To wake you up.
Left an opening. You just hang back. More defense would be good. Got the ball. Run. Nope. Boom!
True aimed thrust into the fire.
Got to do that one more, and then we can just run in, and we'll have it.
That's it.
Yeah. Throw! Ah, it's a little too slow. Got a little greedy.
So fierce.
Nice shot. No. Keep her running. Don't let them get away with nothing.
Flung with considerable precision.
All right. Shay, you got this.
End of the ceremony.
Take it away.
And there it is, at last. The Nightwings proved their worth. An outcome which left little room for doubt.
I've actually gotten good at a few characters. Can you believe it?
Thus ends the Liberation Rite. And thus the scribes have chosen. The exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free. Absolved of all misdeeds. Return to glory in the Commonwealth. Her adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Why, this is an utter outrage. Have you any idea what you've done? You ingrates! After all this time. She turns her gaze toward the rest of you. I never thought this day would come. I have all of you to thank for this, for doing this for me. The life that I recall back in the Commonwealth was at times difficult, and I am much older now. I know not what I shall find on my return. However, I know this. If that place still is like the Commonwealth I left so long ago, then I shall strive to make it better, for as long as I retain my strength and breath. You see her smile faintly as she disappears into the shimmer pool, though you still can hear her voice, though faintly now. Farewell then, reader. All of you. For now. Jodariel earned back her freedom. May she return in glory.
Godspeed, Captain Jodariel. The 8 scribes are watching from afar. By their grace, may the cycle of the Rite keep turning for as long as possible.
She earned it. Very good, very good. Yeah, I've been neglecting a couple of y'all. We need to start getting some more of you in more matches.
Until the turning of the stars.
You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the chastity in the liberation rite. A fortuitous result. Do you think Jodariel's already home? You succeeded in liberating Jodariel, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. She was a grim, long-time resident of the downside, grown accustomed to surviving there, but she has regained her freedom in a liberation rite. At long last. We have but a few such liberation rites remaining. Exactly how many I do not wish to speculate about as yet, until such time as we can better say for certain. Under no circumstances would I suggest this is ideal. However, it is opportunity enough that our plan may as yet succeed. 66% ain't bad. Although, all of these setbacks, I fear... Volfred trails off and falls silent. Some of the others exchange looks. They are beginning to understand. With the rites soon ending, everything which Volfred has sought, both on his own for many years and now with all of you, all of it may have been in vain. The hush spreads to the others. But not to you. You then proceed to do something that none of them seem to expect. You raise your voice. Each of your fellow exiles turns to you, their expressions asking you a question with no easy answer. What are we going to do? As you meet Tizo's gaze, the words for the occasion begin to crystallize in your mind. You are searching to find the right words, as all your fellow exiles are looking to you now. Search for the words to say to your fellow exiles. Interact to gather your thoughts. Okay. You tell them that you all have stood together time after time throughout this quest. Hey, press the red seal to lock in your speech. Still kind of figuring this out here. You've always chosen your words with care. You tell them that you all have stood together time after time throughout this quest, and are now poised to seize upon a glorious opportunity. Okay, so we're choosing one of several different responses here. You tell them that you are not going to mince words with anyone here because by now each of you knows each other well. You tell them that you have all struggled to have come this far across the downside through many challenges which you have faced. What if we click on the second one? Okay, all right. That locks in the first option. Okay, so we have several options for the first phrase. We've all stood together time after time throughout this quest. I'm not going to mince words with anyone here. Or, we've all struggled to have come this far across the downside. That seems like a good one. I like that. Through many challenges which you have faced, only to reach this low point in your journey. No, I like this one better of those two options, I like this one better. It is clear now that not all of you are going to return. Surely this has weighed heavily on everyone. Well, let's see. It is clear now that not all of you are going to return. Your path to freedom still is laid bare before you all. None of you pursue this quest with any guarantees. Do kind of like that one. It is a quest you all knew was unlikely to end well, or one cannot assume that it would have a happy outcome. What are the options for this one? It is clear now that not all of you are going to return. Surely this has weighed heavily on everyone. Each of you knew this outcome was a possibility. Yeah, I like that one. It is clear now that not all of you are going to return. Surely this has weighed heavily on everyone. But something far more vital is at stake. Or, meanwhile, the stars themselves are shining on for you. The Commonwealth is already in upheaval. You see the imminent conclusion of the rites as a sign. The disappearance of the stars above can be no accident. Yeah, I kind of like that. It is a sign the world is changing, that the scribes are watching. Both good. That's a tough choice on that last one. And I think for some, especially in our crew, this would have more resonance. I can see certain members of our party responding more strongly to each of these here, depending on who they are, but yeah, let's go with that one. But something far more vital is at stake. The disappearance of the stars above can be no accident. It is a sign that the scribes are watching. You now have this opportunity to live with purpose. You all stand poised to ensure the world you leave behind for your loved ones. Now is time to stand and fight the forces that oppose you. I like that one. You now have this opportunity to live with purpose. For your people, for each other, for your own sake. This will definitely resonate with some of our characters more than others. Yeah, I do kind of like this one. For each other, for all those who shall live on. For yours is a righteous cause. Yep, I'm good with this one. You now have this opportunity to live with purpose, for each other, for all those who shall live on. When you look at it that way, or if you can believe any of this, if you cannot see the merit in this quest. No, this already feels like it's starting off on the right foot. When you look at it that way, I guess different characters have been coming to the fore each time. I wonder if with each of these statements, we are kind of having the opportunity to sort of speak something specifically to their own feelings on the issue. Or it could just be that we're kind of cycling through the characters who remain. In either case, when you look at it that way, which side of the world you end up on is up to all of you. Or whether you achieve your freedom is up to all of you. Yeah, I like that one. To each one of you in your own way. You need but see your journey to its end. Yeah, that works for me. When you look at it that way, which side of the world you end up on is up to all of you. To each one of you in your own way. After a brief period of reflection, you share one last sentiment with the group. We have to keep going, or the only failure is to stray from the path. The scribes shall always light our way. Enlightenment avails itself through struggle. We shall reunite someday among the stars. We have to keep going until we're free. This one's tough. I think I'll go with this sentiment. After a brief period of reflection, you share one last sentiment with the group. We have to keep going until we are free. Then you join the others in silence. Thus do you remain together with your thoughts. No one speaks for a time, but then... You see them too then, mister. The scribes among the stars, how they're watching over us. Tizo vows to stand with you no matter where your quest shall lead. May long the stars remain a light for you, reader, sir. All the while, Volfred remains watching you intently. Then his expression softens and he smiles. You are right, of course, my boy. We are the Nightwings. It is precisely as you said. We have to keep going until we are free. Lead us then, reader, to the end of our quest, at the dawn of the new age for all our kin. Everyone, for the Nightwings! Everyone responds in kind. They stand with you no matter what. They await the outcome of your vision of the stars, which burn with renewed fury because now the last rites beckon. +1 hope permanently for everyone. Fantastic. We have to keep going until we are free. I'm having a suspicion we might be coming up on the last cycle of this. It sure is sort of feeling like it. The stars above now burn with what appears a desperate fury, many more of them than usual. Your path is yours to choose amid a myriad of stars. Oh, we don't even have like a downtime on this one. We're not even waiting. The stars are just speed-running seasons. Yeah, this really feels like the last round of things. Choices, choices. The stars of the 8 scribes. They shine together now as one. The lone minstrel draws breath, as though surprised by what he sees. He backs away and averts his eyes. This is another sign the rites are soon to cease. Few chances yet remain to confront the adversaries you've met during your journey. Indeed so. It might not be the very last one, but boy, it does feel like we are accelerating toward an endpoint. We shall make our much more difficult choice than usual next time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.